Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles. This is episode 129. I am the Game Master, ArticulateT, and this is our Legend of Zelda Dungeons & Dragons campaign. With me, as always, I have Nether playing Renji Vox.
Boss rushed.
As Hikan Sio, I have Avrdal.
Hello.
As Zaiden Shari, I have Robopart.
Also, hello.
And as Max, I have Keistrith.
Hi.
So, friends, what happened last time?
Well, last time on Hyrule Chronicles. Having returned from the Gerudo Desert, the Storm's Eye go to debrief the royal family about their recent exploits. At Hyrule Castle Town, they heard of a squad of Hyrulean soldiers whose equipment has been stolen, and convey this information to King Marius and the rest of the royal retinue, along with what they had encountered in the desert, as well as their meeting with the Archmage Samaria, also known as Lord Draenor, within the Desert Tower. As they mentioned that the Archmage told them about an artifact that might assist the party that was within the royal family's possession, Prince Rufus rushes off and returns with a box containing a golden harp, the harp of the goddess. As Hikan takes up the harp and strums a note, a voice speaks to him, telling him that in order to receive the harp's aid, they must be tested. The harp brings the Storm's Eye into a bright space, where one after another, the group's former enemies show up. Going through all these boss enemies in a rushed manner, a boss rush if you will, they strike down their foes once more. Returning to the throne room, they explain what happened to King Marius. Prince Rufus is incredibly excited about this turn of events, as it was his idea to bring out the harp of the goddess, but he, along with everyone present, is taken aback by what the king does. Stepping from his throne, he walks up to his younger brother and crowns Rufus as the new King of Hyrule, arguing that Rufus, out of the three royal siblings, best embodies the principles a king should have. While Marius and Sophitia will be advising him, Rufus will henceforth be the King of Hyrule. Giving the siblings some time, Impa steps up to the Storm's Eye, asking them to start discussing their next step to bring about an end to the civil war.
I appreciate every time that in these intros now that we're mentioning the guys who got their pants stolen.
Yeah, everyone needs to know.
Yeah. It's very important that the entire world knows that these guys got their pants stolen.
It's of national importance, I would say.
Yeah, it is indeed.
Uh-huh.
So it is that we return to our group. While Nihilus and Alea remain behind to perform their duty as is normal to protect the royal family, Impa leads all of you outside of the throne room and onwards to like a different chamber just to discuss things. In fact, what she does, she leads you to the library, which seems to be quite empty at this time. There's no real need in order to be super discreet, but it's a nominally quiet place, so she thinks it best to head there. As you arrive, she leans against the front desk and folds her arms and says, "So, let's see. Unfortunately, Risha isn't physically here right now, and we don't have any instant forms of long-range communication, so I'll do my best to try and keep you abreast as to what we know here, and what it is that we wish to do. At best, what we can do is we can send a pretty fast runner to Sarkoza to see if they can confer the plan with her, but we won't be expecting you to hold off until we get the all clear from the Lady of War. Given recent happenings, I think maybe expediency would be the best."
Understood.
So, as far as we can tell, the current situation is like this. The villages to the west, or the settlements to the west, of them, there are four major ones. There's Midas, Vestdal, Kingsward, and Rudal. Kingsward is still loyal to the nation of Hyrule. Rudal recently cut ties but didn't want to continue fighting. They simply wished to be done with everything at this point and forged their own path for the sake of their own safety. Meanwhile, Vestal and Midas are still very much against the kingdom. From what I
bring out the map, Impa. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt, but
yeah,
to see the map would be maybe a good idea.
Oh, there it is.
Go. Thank you. So Renji's taking a look. So you said Midas and Vestal are still in open rebellion?
Yes. Midas especially so. We don't know exactly whether Vestal is as dedicated to the conflict as Midas is, but is still supporting them as best they can.
That makes sense.
We still don't know exactly where Cassandra is. I know that's a high priority for all of you. But if anything, she's still on the mainland, it'll be in one of those two villages. She's lost all ties and credibility within the kingdom as a whole. No one is going to be wanting to keep her sheltered, considering what she's been tied to. As far as our capabilities are concerned, from what we've seen, they are quite well trained and well armed, given that it's only two settlements, especially. We have reports that there is a Lionel out on the field.
Yes.
We believe they might be working for the rebelling villages, but we don't know for sure. Lionels are hard to read in many cases.
Difficult to beat their perception or persuasion skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Kingsward and Rudol?
Kingsward has been getting support from us as best we can. We're sending troops whenever we are able to, but it's mostly in a defensive capacity. And we think that if the Lionel has any targets, it might well be Kingsward. We did get reports that our a convoy that we had been sending to Sarkoza for supplies and aid had been interrupted by a force led by a Lionel. But
was it on the road between Sarkoza and Regenstead?
Yeah.
I'm wondering how we should approach the area then. We would like to check in on Artemark, but if we need to make a... Given the nature of the attack on the squadron whose equipment got stolen, I'm wondering if it's best to keep our travel out of magical means to immediately be there, either through flight or horseback, just walking. We would see more of the terrain, we would see more of the movements of enemy troops.
That's fair.
I wonder how everyone else thinks about that.
Depending on the weather, I could fly high and use the clouds as cover.
Fair enough, yeah.
If we're gonna be doing some traveling, couldn't you do the thing where we turn into clouds again, Zayden?
That's possible.
It'll take longer than the instantaneous travel, but we'd be able to probably see more.
Mm-hmm.
It really depends on what the plan that you... What would you like to tackle first? What's your priority, given this information? As far as Rudolph's capability is concerned, we got word that they hired a Dark Nut, but that's as much as we know.
Yes, they did. We were there looking for the Moblin Ghostspire who's been dealt with. They hired a Dark Nut who's currently over there and was helping us tend to some wounded before we had to continue on our way.
I see. Very well.
I think, as Hikan's kind of taking a long look at the map, if we want to check in at Automark, we should do that quickly. And then we should head up to King's Ward and head west from King's Ward if we think that King's Ward is likely to be attacked.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, if we can get a runner to Sarkosa, I believe... Do we have an extra set of sending stones at this point? Because I know we had 2 sets. We had a inter-party set, and then we had the Nihilus one, which was eventually given to Impa.
I think Mara had one side of the party
Okay.
one. So I think we've got that set still.
We could give Risha the other stone for communication with us if we can get a runner there quickly. Or a bird or something.
A cat.
Always when I'm in the middle of something.
Okay. Well, it's roughly 75 miles or so along the road between here and Sarkosa. That's going to be... That's going to be at least 2 days before you get communication back from Risha. You can probably get to Artemark on horseback. You can probably get to Artemark in a day or so. Even on foot, though, it'll take you a little bit of time.
Did our horses get back from Kakariko?
Yes, they did. They're currently being kept in the royal stables at the moment.
That is a relief. It would be 1 day to Artemark, 1 day to King's Ward-ish, I would say.
On foot. If you're going by horseback and really going for it, you can probably get to King's Ward in a day with the detour to Artemark, but that would be quite the journey, and you would definitely need to rest when you get there. Depends exactly on how long your diversion to Artemark is going to take.
I don't imagine too long. Do we want to ride that fast?
We should if it's necessary.
Then I think to Risha we should let her know that we are going to the Civil War space and that it'll probably be dark. Because we did, if I recall correctly, this is Alvarin's talking above the board. We did talk to Risha before heading towards Gerudo Fortress and the like.
Yeah.
So Risha, I believe, gave us the plan. Please stop, cat.
That's quite a plan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I believe
The plan is to just go to the war and say, please stop.
exactly.
Has anyone tried that in the last 2,000 years?
I mean, maybe it'll work, I don't know.
I do
Yeah.
think that we did kind of say that as a strike force, we could probably infiltrate and sneak into Vestal and Mitos and take a look that way. I think that was the original plan. I don't know. I've slept at least once since then.
Speaking of, is Sophitia still in need of that disguise?
I'm not sure. At this time, I think we're still discussing it as to whether or not we... So that's this thing, I think.
The people who took her are dead.
Yeah, the people who took her are dead, but there is still some vestige of the Twilight Cartel. We know that Cassandra is desperate in trying to leave or flee for her own safety and freedom, but in that same sense, we don't know what that might do. There will probably, if anything, with Marius's recent revelations, I guess. They might decide for the sake of the public that it would be announced within the same swing. Same announcement to the people. Rufus is king now. Safiti is alive and back, and the siblings are advising their younger brother, etc., etc.
It would be a boon to morale to speak of, the royal siblings being reunited.
Yeah.
But I can understand that tactically, strategically, it might not be the best idea to come out and say that immediately.
I think there's risk reward on either end. I mean, if they're still after Sophitia, then it would be a way to get them to reveal themselves where they're at. But I don't think that's necessarily the case. So
Yeah.
I leave that to smarter people.
If you still have a way to communicate with me, you'll be able to tell me what the situation in the war is. If the cartel is still active, then the only place they could be is in the rebelling villages. They've already lost whatever standing they had with anyone in Hyrule, criminal or otherwise. So the only place they would be accepted would be people actively rebelling against the kingdom. So it would, if it is just Cassandra and she's only using what resources she has to supply the rebels, then by all means, then let me know. I can inform everyone here, and we can make it a bit more public. Because given the situation she's in, I doubt another attempt at regicide is going to be on the table, at least not now.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have us to deal with.
Yeah. Okay, so your plan is to head to Artemark, take care of business there, whatever that may be, then head to Kingsward. I'll send a runner with one of these spare sending stones to Sarkosa to hand it off to Risha, who will be able to communicate with you by tomorrow evening at the earliest, I would think. You'll probably be in Kingsward by that point, but then you'll have a direct line of communication, so that'll be okay. As far as I can say, in any capacity, my best advice in this situation is not to simply provide a additional overwhelming force to existing military combats. We've been, from what I can understand from Risha's notes, we've been trying our best to say to these people that if they want to be independent villages, they can be. All they need to do is just sign a peace deal and we can just stop the fighting, but they seem determined otherwise. If we were to throw... And she gestures a hand to think of something and can't think of anything more, to put it lightly. It's like, if we throw 4 weapons of mass destruction at these people, then that's gonna cause problems in further diplomatic relations with anybody who might be a bit tenuous on the relationship they have with the kingdom. If you're there only to grab a criminal and bring them back because of the crimes that they commit, and then leave everyone else alone as best you can, of course, then I think that would be the better option. But you can confer that with Risha when you get in touch with her.
Okay. So, Audemars, King's Ward, stay around there until we hear from Risha, maybe, in case that they do try to attack, and then stealthily go get Cassandra if possible.
Yeah, figure out where she is.
Is the current plan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. That is the case. That is your plan. Whenever you're ready to leave, I will send the runner immediately. And I guess good luck.
Thank you.
We should have a quick check-in with Uriel before we leave.
Okay.
And then we'll, if it would be possible to get our horses ready, then we can get to the stables and leave post-haste.
We'll get them ready by the western gate.
I appreciate it.
She leaves you be and goes off to find a messenger to get to Sarkosa, leaving you to your own devices.
When was the last day we had a day off?
What's a day off?
Exactly.
Or Sarkosa was attacked by the zombies.
All right. Oof.
And only that was a half day, because then we had to go schmooze people after that.
All right, that wasn't necessarily a day off, indeed.
Alright.
Anyway, Uriel.
Okay. 2 Uriels.
Yeah, you leave the castle and head back through Castle Town, and make your way to the ever-familiar door of Uriel's Magnificent Magical Machinations. As you head inside, there's a little ringing of the bell as you enter into the gilded, narrow room of many lockboxes upon the walls, and sitting behind the desk is Uriel, the curly blonde hair and mustache and refined regal robes of your magic item seller, and he looks over and says, "Well, it's an awful long time since I saw y'all come in. Welcome back to Uriel's Magical Machinations. I may have missed one word in that, but it's been a while. I'm out of practice. How can I help y'all today?"
Yeah, it has been a while since you've said that, hasn't it?
Hikan says I was gonna say Hikan says Inshika to Renji, but then forgetting that everyone can hear what he says anyway.
It's okay. It's okay. Max will understand you.
No. It's tongue of the moon.
You need like a code language.
Yeah.
I can teach you thieves can't.
I don't think you can. I still have a negative intelligence.
It'll just take a while.
So do we want to deal with the talking first or the business first? Because you wanted to talk to him to try to convince him to take up the magic post.
I think
Yeah.
business, out of character, I think business first.
What is talking? What is business to Hikan?
Business is buying and selling magical items if
Okay.
necessary.
Yeah.
So, Uriel, it has been a while.
It has indeed.
Do you remember Lord Draenor?
I believe I do, yes. A bit of a bore, that one, but he did stop by a couple times. Good for business, at least for a little bit. Why?
Max is just gonna
Well-
tap the side of the staff he's carrying.
He looks over, squints, tilts his head, it's like, oh. See, I thought there was something wrong with that one, but that's absolutely fine. So, fellow was Samaria then?
Indeed.
Huh.
We have helped him out of a bit of a spot of bother, but...
Wait. Was he also that same fellow who keeps communicating with folks in dreams?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've seen him.
Oh yeah, he told me about y'all when you came to, when you turned up as beasts. Is how
Yeah,
I knew
we
you
were
were
all
there.
Right, yes. Yes, he did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Hmm.
Couldn't communicate any other way due to, kind of like... Okay, so you know...
He's just gonna say,
space time,
Max is
right?
gonna say he's in magic prison.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Oh. Ain't that a shame?
Indeed. So he won't be back anytime soon.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I guess not.
Um,
If he's been put in a prison that can keep him at bay, then yeah, he ain't gonna be coming back anytime soon.
So we were wondering, would it be possible for you to become Lord of Magic?
Boy, howdy, they got you at the castle, didn't you? They asked you to ask me, didn't you?
We suggested it.
was
Max is
your
gonna
idea?
say Max is gonna say he suggested it.
Yeah.
I suggested it.
Oh, well, it's awful sweet of you. Honestly, it is awful sweet of you, but it's a conflict of interest, boy. That ain't something I'm capable of taking up. No, I've got my business here. I know I'm...
I know you do. I understand that. However, and Renji takes on this kind of like more, well, not regal, but definitely noble stance. Uriel, while I understand that you are a businessman, and I appreciate everything you've done for us so far, there comes a time when one must choose for nobler pursuits than just capital. And I know that you are a good man. I know that you have a love for this country. I don't ask you this to do this in perpetuity, but at least for the time being, when there are still risks to this country, with the civil war, as well as the sovereign hand, and the looming threat of it behind the sovereign hand, would you accept this position? I'm trying very hard to persuade him.
Okay, go give me a persuasion / diplomacy. I forget which one it is in this system. It's always different.
It's
between people.
4!
So,
Do you have inspiration?
I do have inspiration! Not anymore! Here we go! 36!
So he sits there and thinks about it for a while. And says, nobler ambition, huh?
Honestly, tell me truly, is there anyone better?
Well, yeah, but he's stuck in magic prison from what you told me.
So isn't.
Well, let me give you the rundown as to what I know so far in regards to mages that exist within this span of time. Or at least great mages, the types who are capable of making their own spells. Samaria, he's in prison, as you know. Berna, dead. Paki, missing. Zelish, also dead from what I've been told, by your hand no less. And, well,
You don't have to rub it in.
I mean, from what I've been told, he kind of deserved it.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Question: is making spells a requirement?
Not especially, but...
Because you do that too.
I do that. I consider myself one of the great mages, as it were. But the problem is that they are vanishingly rare. And you don't necessarily have to make a spell to be considered a great mage, but they're also very difficult to come by. Now, finding one who is also able to hold a position of government is a different matter entirely. But, and he pauses again and thinks. It says, to put it plainly, the chances are of this being a temporary assignment, at least for me, are very small. Because in order to get to someone of my level when it comes to being a mage, if that's the requirement for being a Lord of Magic, at least on the level of what this Draenor was, it's going to take decades, perhaps centuries even, depending on the lifespan of folk, unless you find a suitable candidate. So while I will stand in for now in a matter of national crisis, what I would suggest as well, perhaps when you've got the time, is maybe find someone who is not only willing to stand in, but also has similar capabilities. Your options there being, if you know a mage that I don't know, you get them. Otherwise, the only person I can think of who might still be alive and be able to hold that position would be Paki. But Paki's missing, as he often is.
Who's Paki?
Max is gonna look at the rest of the group. It's like, what if one of us did it?
You could do it.
Again?
You're a powerful mage.
I don't know if I really do spells though. I just kind of throw magic at people.
Be honest.
That
I
is
think as a government person, it's much more important that you have the regal bearing and understanding of politics just staring at Renji.
I am
You
a German when
also
it comes to magic.
got a lot of knowledge of magic when you ate the harvester.
That was honestly not a pleasant experience, and I don't know if I should have done that.
But you do have all this knowledge.
Artie,
Hmm.
do I have all of the knowledge of the harvester?
Probably not all of the knowledge of the harvester. I will, however, for the sake of it, just to aid in your thing, give me a history roll.
Okay.
With advantage, I will say, because you have spent your time among nobility, you probably would have at least some knowledge of the process.
28.
Yeah, with a 28, Uriel in and of himself is not incorrect. It's mostly just the fact that it is largely magical theory that would be required of the position. You would, as a most of the folks, well, the way that the Court of Hyrule works is that an appointed noble of a certain position is the one who makes the final say in decisions regarding that thing. And then you also have to, like, if a new law needs to be passed, like if say another person, another noble wants to pass a law that will have an effect by you, by the thing, the thing that you're overseeing. So let's say, for example, that the Lord of Civics wants to pass a law that taxes all magic users or magic-based spells, etc., etc., or something like that. They would then have to get clearance from you to then present it to the royal family, who will then get the final say on whether or not it passes. The more people that it affects, the more people are involved, and that's largely how that process works. So while you would effectively be the appointed archmage of the kingdom, of being like, if something magical and weird is happening, people will come to you looking for answers. So you probably will have a substantial amount of knowledge to be able to hold the position, even if you're not necessarily a great mage. But given your magical capability at this moment, you may even consider yourself a great mage. You are an 18th level character, so you are probably powerful enough in that regard.
Like, when it comes to raw spellcasting, Max is probably one of the 5 most powerful people in the world.
Yeah.
But the Maxes don't necessarily have an understanding of magical theory.
Yeah, Max's Arcana is a +6.
Yeah.
I think you need more than that to be Lord of Magic.
Yeah, it's like
my Arcana is 15. Yeah.
That's more than double mine.
Yeah.
Muriel isn't incorrect in that it would probably take a great mage to have the position, but he's a wizard who is unknown amounts of years old and is capable enough of crafting his own spells. So he probably has enough magical theory to back up what he's saying, but it's probably a bit more fluid than that.
Also, like, someone who knows a lot about magic would know who to bring along if they needed a lot of power magic, if they don't necessarily have that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Renji sighs as kind of as he rationalizes this, and says, Max, despite all of that, I am still part of the Storm's Eye. My priorities lie elsewhere.
Yeah, and you said we're not going to be adventuring together after we deal with this problem, so why is that a problem?
Who says we aren't?
You guys, multiple times.
Maybe
He's
not
not wrong.
Maybe not as big as still
You're
gonna
the
want
ones
to
who
help out
keep
my
saying
friends.
I need to find something else to do after we're done with this problem.
I mean,
I am simply following your logic to its conclusion.
Uriel just kind of like looks between the group and like raises an eyebrow and says, "Y'all need a minute? I can take
No.
care of something in the back if you need me to."
It's like, no, there's not much else to say.
Max, when we've quelled the civil war, when we've caught Cassandra, when we've found the third medallion, when we've raised Minister Simeon and Sidon's family, and we've saved Mara, and we've destroyed Nazgrada. What do you want to do then?
I don't know. I still don't know. I'll figure it out, I guess.
And we'll be there for when you figure it out.
But this
If you
isn't
say so.
about what Max wants to do right now. This is about what
Yeah.
Renji wants to do.
I think I cannot be the Lord of Magic. Do I say that? Am I saying it's right? Is it Minister of Magic?
Let me have a look at the notes and see
It's
what the
Lord.
nomenclature is. I think it's Lord.
Most
It's Lord. Okay.
Specifically, it would be Lord of the Arcane.
Lord of the Arcane.
Yeah. Because Lord Das, who is effectively of a similar position, is the Lord of the Faith. But he's a paladin of... So he...
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is proof that you don't need to be a full caster to
Shut up!
feel. No.
Is he
Max is gonna-
multiclassing?
Max
Is he
is gonna make
multiclassing? No,
another
he isn't.
suggestion. So like, he said you don't have to do it immediately.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. It would be... certainly be something. And as Lord of Magic, it might be that I need to appoint some folks to come with me if there's ever a problem.
And then Max is gonna look at Bureau and say, "So it's a temporary thing."
He nods and says, as said, I can stand in for a time. And if Renji would like it to be a temporary thing, he can also stand in for a time. It's, well, as far as I know, it's a difficult process. It wasn't exactly clean when it was implemented by the king previously, but Uriel shrugs. I'm sure in a time of crisis they won't be too picky about how long you want your contract to be, so to speak.
And outside of times of crisis, we will no doubt have more than one head thinking about the hows and whys.
Alright. That sounds good. And like that's been thought up at least a little bit. So are we okay with everything that's been discussed so far?
Well,
Yep.
Uriel?
I'll go speak to the folks at the castle later.
Much appreciated.
Gotta get some paperwork done, of course, but that can come later.
Just don't rob
Excellent.
the treasury blind.
Please. It ain't no fun if I ain't making the money myself. Favor is boring.
Speaking of, we got you a tale of a Helmasaur a little while ago because the harvester was in the thing, and I asked for a belt to help me with my. And Hikan makes punching motions real quick. How much do I owe you? Is it if it's finished? The item that I'm looking at. So wait, it is for your purposes since we did supply materials for it. Was a +3 dragon hide belt.
Nice.
Because I have decided that bounded accuracy is going to suck for me anyway, so I might as well try to stun things better.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That is fair. Let's see. Let me have a look and see. Uriel will nod. Oh yeah, that one. Moment, and he stands up. And with a gesture of his right hand, segments of the wall begin to like move away in like a puzzle piece sort of like fashion before another set of lock boxes slide forward. He takes out a wand, taps it. There's a series of loud tumbler clicks as it unlocks, and he pulls it out and he removes what appears to be something of a sash that has the crimsony sort of ruddy brown scales that once belonged to the Helmasaur King. And he walks over and says, "Now then, as described, this will permit a lot of your martial effects there to hit a bit harder to resist, so to speak. Also allows you to channel your abilities a bit more. This will set you back about... Well, you provided me with a material. Let's say 9,000?
I can do that.
Good.
Okay, I now have 332 of my own gold.
Okay.
You have gold? I've had like 100 for ages.
I didn't buy anything, I was saving up for stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Alright, excellent. I will put that in my inventory.
As this transaction happens, Renji is going to slowly carefully take out a small sliver of metal. Uriel, given the discussion we had just now about you temporarily accepting the role of Lord of Magic, discussions permitting, we have something for you. And he walks to the counter and puts down the letter opener sized shard of Imperium.
He walks over, examines it carefully, and you can see very briefly the breaking of his salesman-like facade as he recognizes the metal in and of itself, and then it resets. And he looks at it and says, "Now that is a very dangerous item that you have brought into my establishment." He puts it back on the table and says, "To cut you off quite swiftly, if you're looking for more of the stuff, unfortunately I don't carry it. Trust me, there's a limitation to my salesman-like pitch that I can provide.
I was not going to. I was not expecting that, to be honest. So, I do, however, wonder if you could do something with it."
He looks back at the shard, seeing the general size of it, and like, well, he looks over all of you and says, "Gonna be a bit too small for a dagger. An arrowhead, maybe, but that's just the one arrow, and I don't think any of y'all are particularly used to using bows at this moment."
Well,
you could probably
exactly
use
what
it,
I was thinking of.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What if it was turned into a magical focus? Would that affect the spells in any way?
Yeah, it would, but not in the way that you'd like them to.
I'm just wondering how.
Well, he sits down behind the counter and takes up the shard again and says, "Imperium is a fluid concept material. In a very roundabout, simplistic way that probably doesn't do it much justice, most of the entities that exist upon the upper and lower planes, the ones that are intrinsically tied to moral forces such as good and evil, law and chaos, they are made up of energy that is not too dissimilar to abstracta. They are bound by the forces that they are constructed with. And the same goes for whatever material that exists on their planes. Imperium comes from the upper planes. It is bound by nominally good forces. What is determined as good is different for everybody, but for the most part, forces empowered by abstracta are amplified in a often terrifying degree. It is why it is difficult to get pieces of Imperium or Abyssite, I think, is its opposite.
Correct.
Which it's difficult to get a hold of any of them because, well, the resultant effect, when not refined properly, is oftentimes catastrophic.
I've not a magic focus. And what if I take out just the hilt of aspiration, not yet ignited? Would you be able to forge it within the core of this?
Magic holy lightsaber.
Possibly. The question is this, though. Where'd you get it?
Kind of glance over at the staff of Max.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And dare I ask why you have it in the first place? Is it to deal with this, what's the word? This lich fella.
I will speak about this in your capacity as Lord of Magic, as well as our acquaintanceship that we've built over, the time we were the Storm's Eye. You remember Mara?
He nods.
She's been taken by the Lich. She was once his sword. He'd betrayed him, made a life for herself here in Hyrule, and over many generations developed herself, her personality, as a trusted and loyal servant of the kingdom. He has unfortunately forcefully been recalled. We need this, points out the Imperium, to break what is currently her physical body.
If it's necessary.
After we have saved her soul. And I glance to Max and say, unfortunately, it will very much be necessary, given that the sword, the physical sword, is also, most likely, the Lich's phylactery, the soul jar.
Okay. And that tells me that their big cleaver, a big sword, as you say.
Yeah.
That is
Made of abysite.
Yeah. Well, I could certainly give it a shot, but it will take some time. You will be without your weapon for the period of time that it will take me to do that. And I guess
I figured as much.
He says with a roll of his eyes, but a bit of a smirk, says, as it is my duty as Lord of the Arcane, and it is of a service to the kingdom and the impending doom, I can take care of that as a work expense.
I appreciate that, and I'm sure the kingdom will be able to reimburse.
Oh boy, tax write-offs.
Yay!
Yay.
He takes up the shard, and if you give it to him, he'll take up the hilt of aspiration and says, I can't guarantee that this will break whatever that blade is. Raw Imperium will destroy raw abyssite and the other way around. But additional magical effects that shore up an item's durability are also a separate matter, often amplified by the material they're in. So you might be able to scratch it, but it won't be a simple matter of clash the blades once and then it's done.
I figured as much.
But it'll certainly give you a bit of a boost.
With that, do you happen to have something of a spare? I gave away my other magical weapon.
I don't know if I have another Sunblade, but let me have a look.
Rapier will do as well.
Yeah.
Technically, you have the Sovereign Standard.
I do not have it anymore. I gave it to Tyrina.
She didn't take it.
You didn't
Did
take
she
it.
not?
No,
What?
you guys
No.
still have it.
She refused
I don't-
to take it because
Oh,
of what
I
it symbolized.
I don't think
Yeah.
you can wield it though.
I can.
At disadvantage.
Hold on. I have martial weapons training
Okay.
Oh,
because Hexblade.
so you do.
So I can. I would need. I thought I gave it away.
Would that affect your sneak attack, though?
It would. I couldn't use sneak attack on it.
Mm.
You couldn't use a shield with it either. I think it's two-handed.
Yeah.
But you do have it. You do have another magical weapon.
You could sell it.
Yeah, I will sell it probably. Because like if even if just as a transfer, like I have this, do you have something equivalent rapier or like finesse longsword style that I have gotten used to?
You'll
Seriously, like if it is a rapier, that would be best because I never use the longsword two-handed.
yeah. He gets up and with another wave of his hand, walls move away and out comes a weapon rack, and he will pluck from it a basket-hilted rapier, which looks very nice and magical. And
I do like nice and magical.
he will hold it out to you and say,
Mhm.
"This is one of my finest ones, but I expect it back when you come and collect your Sunblade here."
I promise not to throw it away.
Thank you. It is a standard magical +3 rapier.
A +3? Oh shit!
It has no name and is just that, but yeah, there's no like additional dice on top of it. It's just a +3 to attack and damage.
That's actually better than what I have. It's just that there's no radiant damage.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. No attunement needed. Wait a minute.
How much are sanding stones?
10 stones. Let me have a look.
I tend to do a lot of scouting in the sky now, so means I don't have to yell down at people.
I guess so. I can provide you with a pair of sending stones for 100 gold pieces per pair.
Okay, I was just gonna add up 100 gold and has basically no money left.
I can help with that
Oh.
if you need.
I was just gonna add up the money.
Okay. Uriel, for say 3,000 Do you have anything that may help with... I'm looking for something to enhance my combat ability. Doesn't matter if it requires attunement or not, because, you know, I'm handing over aspiration to you for a moment.
Well, 3,000, you say?
Well, technically a little bit more. 3,441.
And in what fashion are you expecting this to enhance your combat capabilities?
I'm already pretty light on my feet. But I wouldn't mind going a little faster.
Faster.
Or harder, or better, or stronger, whichever Daft Punk you want to sprinkle in.
Well, I'm not sure I have anything that'll make you faster that you can probably afford in that fashion. The closest I got, he stands up and heads over to another lockbox, unlocking it, and pulls out a pair of form-fitting green boots. And says, now these will help you run faster. Quite a large margin, in fact. But I said, I don't think they're going to be worth less than 3,000.
I do have this old thing, and I take out the rod of the Pact Keeper that I bought here. I believe we had some less savory conversation back then.
We did, yeah.
I remember threatening you.
You did.
Did you expect me to come here and ask you to be Lord of Magic after that?
Probably back then I wasn't expecting you to be in a position where you could make that offer, to be honest. But then again, we've all been wrong in our own capacities. It's good to see you've kicked the habit, though.
I didn't expect to become a baron.
Well, tell you what. 2,500 in that rod there, and these boots of speed can be yours.
That sounds like a steal. 250 platinum. And the rod of the Pact Keeper. Gone to you.
Take them and pocket the money, put the rod in a different lockbox, and lock it out.
Boots of speed.
He'll turn to Zayden and say, I don't want to leave y'all out of the fun here. Is there anything you'd like to peruse? Anything you need to stock up on at all?
I didn't have anything in mind, no.
Okay. Well, doors are always open, of course, though process might be a little bit different after I've officially become Lord of the Arcane, I guess. But, yeah. I said, door is always open. And he'll move back over to the desk and sit down behind it. and say, so, any other trades or business you'd like to take care of before all is said and done?
Well, there is this, and I do take out the Sovereign Standard. I do not like this one bit.
I can see why.
But if anyone can find a use for it, I trust you to be that one.
Well, I'll see what I can find in that regard. Thing is, though, in addition to it being slightly more, I suppose, selfish form of magic, it does have some unfortunate ties to it. Makes it difficult to sell here in Hyrule, at least, but maybe someone else somewhere will not know what the symbol means and will simply take it up or make something different out of it. I can always just change the flag.
I was planning on doing that myself, yes.
Well, in that capacity, let's see.
It's just a little bit too unwieldy for me to actually use it in its intended way.
Yeah, I can imagine so. He will take it from you and examine it, check its balance, run like a pull of power over just to see whether or not he can properly identify it and whatnot. And then he'll like frown slightly, say, that is mean. Okay, well, I can offer you about 2,000 gold on that. It's not necessarily the magical effect behind it, it's more just how difficult it'll be to shift and the amount of cost will go into reconfiguring it, so to speak.
Yeah, I'll have my 200 platinum back.
He'll happily hand it back. You've been alleviated of the Sovereign Standard.
Alright then, let's remove that as well. Just trying to go through. I have also given him the Imperium letter opener. I'm deleting that as well.
Yeah, unless we're mixing effects, which I don't know how much that would cost, I don't need to do anything else.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go wait outside.
I think with that, any shopping is done for me as well.
Okay.
Oh, I thought of something I should get, just in case I want to use it. A jade circlet worth at least 1,500 gold pieces for the shape change spell.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm probably just going to use foresight because that's so convenient. But
Yeah. Foresight's
It's
really
better.
good.
Foresight is really good.
It's one of the best spells in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, upon making that request, Uriel will happily go to a different lockbox. This one's slightly easier to unlock, and we'll pull it from the wall. It's a very long, deep drawer, and he will take up a jade circlet and present it to you and say, I believe this should cover everything that you need. He pushes the drawer and it slides back into the room. Yeah.
I will provide him with 1,500 of the finest gold pieces.
Pleasure doing business with you. Well, if that's all you need from me, then I'll make sure everything's counted up, locked up, and I'll make my way over to the castle.
All right. I bet. Hold on. Let's just say, take out the sending stone towards Impa. Say, Impa, I believe that Uriel might be popping up at the castle anytime soon.
Okay.
Might want to talk about some stuff.
Right. Okay, well, we'll make sure that we're aware to receive him. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Perhaps it might be good to have the royal siblings there too, given it deals with. Oh. Okay, this is not Renji. I just can't get my words straight today.
That's okay.
Official business.
Yeah, this is official crown business.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure they're aware. Thank you.
Renji out.
See that? Euro just kind of gives a bit of a nod. Well, thank you for calling ahead. I'll be sure to get all my paperwork ready.
Mm-hmm.
He'll after you leave, he'll close the door behind you. There is a clack as it locks, leaving you back in Hyrule Castle town. Ready to
sign turning automatically to sorry, we're closed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, royal stables then?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Are we going by horse or are we going by cloud?
I was under the impression that we were going by horse, but
It is faster, technically.
going by cloud would be, I think, a better way of infiltrating the villages. So we could go to King's Ward and using Windwalk off from there.
Although if we go just to our... Do we have stuff in our barony yet? We have a town?
Well, Kaya's been working there.
You have
So-
very least a series of foundations and buildings and stuff, but you don't really have a population, so to speak.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No. Last time we were there, it was a tomb.
It's a dungeon, yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
dungeon, and that's about it.
It was a decrepit mansion set into the side of a hill, within which was a secret entrance to a long, convoluted, trap-filled dungeon, and maybe a couple of other buildings outside of said mansion that are also
I
in
think-
disrepair.
Yeah, Kai was building a new house. Because I don't think we were going to be moving into the decrepit mansion.
Mhm.
So, are you going to Artemak by cloud or by horseback?
I would feel sad or a little bit awkward for having them prepare our horses and then not going. That's
think
me
we-
personally.
Another reason we might want to take the horses is we'll be more quickly able to respond to something on the ground if we're passing over it.
Mhm. Yeah, otherwise it would take a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can do then.
Right. So you go to the Western Gate. You acquire your horses. There's very little fuss when taking care of this. The procession of soldiers that was there earlier in the day is now gone. They must have begun
They
their
have gone
journey
and acquired new
somewhere.
pants.
They've gone and acquired new pants. But yeah, you saddle up, ready to go, and you are guided through the gate before, once again, the plains of Hyrule lie before you. It is unfortunately an overcast day, at least at this point, and a slightly chill breeze blows over you. possibly causing you to shiver depending on your tolerance to the cold. But you begin your journey. Now, it doesn't... we're on horseback at a light trot, or even at a full gallop, it would take you maybe a couple of hours to get there. But if you were to just not overwork the horses and carry on at, say, a light trot, then you would be able to get there within 4 or 5 hours, given the speed of your horses. It was about mid-morning when you left, so it's about late-ish afternoon when you arrive. When you get there, you find what was once this decrepit mansion and broken down buildings have since been removed. The area that had been cut out from this hill that the mansion was set into has been built up into the at least the very basic workings of a larger, more stable home, as well as various different foundations for a lot of different buildings that have yet to be built. Some of them have, and there is the partitioned area of road. When you do arrive, you find this collection of workers, both Hylian and Goron, setting about their business as they would usually do. And it's not long before you find Kai. What would Kai be doing as part of setting up this foundation at the moment? What would you think?
That is an excellent question. I think he's just kind of trying to make sure that things are even, that it's easy to kind of traverse through places. He's definitely taken a look through some of the other villages and aspects of like Castletown and the like, and has shaken his head a couple of times at the fact that they're not on a grid system. So he's been making Automark on a grid system, so it's easy to navigate and
You can roll down the roads easier if it's on a grid system.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that way people don't have a harder time getting lost. It's just, yeah, go over there, take a left, and you're good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just been a lot of planning, kind of expand outwards as needed for it, but yeah. So there's probably like a couple of buildings there for the moment. There's probably some basic foundations of other buildings, like kind of skeletons, but at this point it hasn't been horribly long, I don't think.
Not terribly long,
man.
no.
Yeah, so it's probably a couple of buildings. There's probably like the equivalent of an inn and like inn tavern type of thing, a place to eat, and a place to drink, and a place to sleep that may or may not be all one building, or a couple of buildings that are really close together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, you guys wander into town, and you see as Kai is inspecting much of the work that is there, conferring maybe with one or two of the workers before informing them what to do next, how to improve, that sort of thing. They nod and proceed onwards to commence other work.
His perception's only +1. He's probably not going to notice.
Yeah. So as far as Kai would be aware in regards to local happenings, there would be there probably would have been whisperings about a platoon of troops who had been mugged for their stuff.
Bunch of pantsless gods walking around.
Yeah. But otherwise it's been fairly quiet. Oddly quiet, in fact. Chances are there's still like in addition to the infrastructure stuff, there is also the matter of having to deal with the dungeon itself.
Yeah.
Probably best to, like, it's probably, I imagine that's been like, for at the moment, because it'll take the longest time to deal with. It's probably, the entrance has probably been like blockaded off for now, and then deal with that later.
I think outside of like main construction stuff, once people start getting more of a habit, Kai's been going down there and soloing things on his own, taking care of it.
Yeah,
That's where he got his levels from.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
He's
dear.
been grinding.
Not intentionally. Or not as the main focus.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. But yeah. So as I imagine that even with a +1 perception, it's difficult to not hear a procession of hoofs on road or hoofs on ground, especially if there's 4 horses.
We're not being subtle.
Yeah, Kai would look up and see the Storm's Eye wandering in, and they in turn would see and identify Kai quite quickly.
I'd throw up a salute.
Hey there.
Good to see you, old friend.
Yeah, good to see all y'all too. Alright, to what do I owe the pleasure?
Just coming to inspect Artemark. Looks like you're having things well in hand. Have you met Hikan?
I think we met briefly back in Goron City.
Right. Well, time to
I also
make
think
your
Kai
acquaintance.
hasn't seen Max since he got wings and horns. So
There is that as well, but I wanted Alvrans to talk to themselves.
and just reminding in case there is a reaction.
It's definitely kind of a long pause, and then it's just, nah, I'm not impolite enough to make mention of anything that's not going to be brought to my attention with something like that. We accept everyone on Death Mountain, damn it.
All right.
Yeah, so, hi again. It's good to see you. Yeah, good to see you too. I hope that you like what I've done with the place. It should be pretty easy to navigate and take care of things. So, yeah. But you just here to just take a look around, you guys, or?
Check in on progress, and also we'd like to know how you've been experiencing things with, there's been talk about attacks.
It's been very quiet, all things considered. Almost too quiet with everything that's been going on, if you ask me.
Well, it's never a good thing to hear.
No, it is not.
With everybody's passive perception, possibly with the exception of Kai, though I would imagine after a while, when Kai puts his mind to it, probably notices. Yeah, it is very quiet. Besides the sounds of work that's happening, it's oddly quiet. You get the light rustling of tree branches from the breeze, but no animal sounds, no chirping of birds or calling of foxes or whatever you might expect at this time of day in this area of the world.
Has that been a regular thing at Audemars?
It has only recently started.
Yeah, it's been too quiet recently. Nothing, no wildlife or anything else. Yeah, that is weird, I guess. There's always the sounds of animals or birds. Not here, it hadn't been.
That is concerning.
Ass is gonna hop off the horse, pass the reins to whoever is closest, and just say, "Back in a minute," and take off into the sky.
Okay.
And
Do you want company?
He's already gone.
Okay.
In response, I will cast detect magic.
I'm just gonna
And
look down from above and see if I can see any animals or anything around.
Give me a perception check.
$15.
Okay. With a 15, from this high up, it would normally be difficult to because you don't have telescopic eyes, but it's so ground animals would be out of the question. But birds, you would at least see some kind of birds, like a flock or something nearby. Maybe.
I think I would like to.
I'm gonna then look out into the distance and see if I can see any far away.
You see maybe one or two singular birds.
I'm gonna keep flying, and if any fly in this direction, I'm gonna see if they turn around.
Okay.
I'll be up there a while.
Yeah. So we will get back to you in a sec then. As for detecting of magics.
Yeah, I wanted to try and ride around town kind of below max to catch the same area, and then within like the 30 feet, like the 10 yards around me, see if I could notice any strangeness, any disturbances.
Give me a perception check, even with your detect magic up.
I should be good at that.
Yeah.
22.
Okay. So with the 22, you ride around town. It's still quiet. As you move further away from the sounds of construction, it's even quieter. Mm-hmm. You can sense the ambient magics in the air. There's a lot of like the stuff that you would have sensed when you first arrived here the first time with Sho and under the order of Simeon to find out what's going on. You notice that collection of magic seems to have dwindled a fair bit, probably because of the renovations going on and what Kai's been up to and everything like that. But there is the faintest background, like a consistent background of necromancy. And it's only that you find a kind of twinge of that and notice that when just out of your peripheral, you think you see a shadowy shape standing off on a hill, just like westwards. Like just over a bit of rolling plain, you can see, like just out of the side of your vision, you think you see like a standing shape of a person silhouetted against the light, and as you turn to look at it, it's gone. You blink a couple times and look around to see if anything might have moved or anything similar. Nothing.
I think I would like to try and whistle, notify Max, and go that way.
Okay. While you're checking on that one, up in the clouds, Max, as you begin flying out, widening your circle to see if you can find any birds, you do find a couple of birds that are flying towards Artemark. They don't appear to avoid the place, but there are very few birds. Like over the course of a couple of minutes, you find one or two. Say that again?
Like, do they fly over the construction zone, or do they try and go around, or? Yeah,
they fly over it. So they don't seem to be avoiding Artemark in particular. Most of them do seem to be flying east, though.
Okay. After that, we'll see Renji going a different direction and just follow above.
Yeah. As you do follow above, one thing does catch your eye. Roughly, just over in the distance, from your vantage point, you are able to see a couple of villages at the very least. You can tell that one of them is King's Ward, another one is Rudal. What you note is that coming from this direction and moving towards Rudal appears to be a small collection of soldiers, all of them bearing the banners of the same regal colours of Hyrule Kingdom.
30?
At a rough count, about that many.
Gonna fly lower and say, group of soldiers moving from Kingswood to the other place. I don't really remember the names very well. The allied one.
King's Ward to
Rudal.
Rudal.
Wearing the castle's colours.
Why would...
Also, all the birds are flying east. I don't know if that's like important or anything.
If the soldiers heading that way are the ones who stole the uniforms, then it's likely they're going to try and cause some kind of incident that way.
I think that's something we would like to avoid.
We should probably go
happening.
catch up with them.
Do you want more assistance with this, or do you think you guys got it?
Honestly, every little bit helps.
All right. I can run as fast as here. And Hikan will give Kai his horse for the moment and then just get ready to sprint.
Okay.
How far away were they?
It looks like they would be close. Like, it looks like they're actually really close to Rudal. As you're making this plan, it would probably be another couple of minutes before they would be in the village.
Okay.
Ooh, we don't have long at all.
We will be there probably too late.
Have we ever been to Rudal Village?
We have.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to suggest then that I will use transport via plant to get us from here to there immediately.
Okay.
Would that work with our horses, or do we have to dismount?
I mean, if we
But
can convince the horses
makes
to go
it-
through,
It makes a portal,
any creature
right?
can.
Kind of.
Although,
Makes like
probably at
a
this point,
makes like a Night Before Christmas doorway.
yeah. Although we might want to leave the
Go through doors.
horses in Artemark for now if we're gonna
Yeah.
have to deal with these soldiers.
Yeah, that's fair.
We can come back from.
Yeah.
We'll just forget about them for another few months now.
They're somewhere safe now. They're in our barony.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Hikan immediately goes through as soon as the portal is up.
Yep.
We
in
don't have to go
as
immediately
optimal.
through it. It's only open for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go, go, go!
Hold on a sec. I need to. Graphics performance notification. Why was that? No. I need to make sure I've got the right tokens because I pulled one from a thing and it decided to give Renji 95 out of 95 hit points, and I know you've got way more than that.
Yeah, did we after the boss rush technically have like everything of a long rest, or?
Yeah, effectively, it was almost as if
Effectively,
it was
yes.
almost as if it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Gotcha.
Just need to make sure I've got everything copied. See. Go there. And yeah, cool. So it's everybody, including Kai. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. go on. Delete that token. Just need to open up Kai's sheet so that when the token gets placed, it has the updated HP. Because I know that Roll20 likes to do that for some reason.
It do.
You do. Okay. So, as you were deliberating on these plans, you find the nearest tree, and through the use of magics, you tear open a portal and rush on through. It's just as you step in that you hear the sounds of rushing and combat and shouting. Well, not combat just yet. You hear as if the beating of feet and the clattering of armor and the war cry of a charge by soldiers. And as you all step out into this area, you look to your side and you see that there is a platoon of Hylian, almost like heavily armored soldiers and knights, charging into Avrdal and raising weapons as if to strike at what appear to be local towns guards and commoners. I suppose in this instance there is. I'll bring you guys to the map, and then we will roll for initiative. I'll also zoom out on here so people can see where everybody is.
I also zoom out because it is a big map.
It is a big map. It's probably one of the ones I had left over from before and thought that it was probably going to take up more space.
This is also built on a grid. What they're doing in Artwork isn't any new.
I thought we innovated city planning. No, it's fine. It's okay.
Turns
It's not
out
really a
grid
grid. It's like a
isn't-
misshapen sort of thing.
Yeah, just
It is merely on a
cross-hatching.
grid for the purposes of moving things around on a
Mhm.
map.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's me.
I realized I misspelled Artemark due to accent.
That's fine. It's okay. It was an entirely made up word in my usual stance of vowel sound, consonant sound. Which is usually when it comes to like the fastest thing I can think of when I make player characters. When I come up with a name is bunch of vowels noun, which is basically
We love noun.
yeah, or adjective noun or something like that. Something very very basic like what was it? My main go-to exemplar / paladin, Eros Steel Sun, or something like along those lines, or my Magus Valentis Whisperblade, or something like just that, because I can't think of anything else. Okay.
Oh, I have redone my token, and now I'm not in initiative anymore. Whoops.
Oh.
That's my bad.
That's okay. I'll add you to the turn order. You should be able to fill in your what your initiative score is, and then I'll reorder the thing.
Should be 23.14. 20 and pi.
Okay. That one. So you arrive just as the battle has been met. Not a single attack has been appropriately thrown or landed, but it's a very close call. At the top of the order, we have Renji, followed by Hikan, followed by the commoners, followed by Zayden, because players always go before NPCs, followed by the attacking Hylians, who are represented by the veterans in this case, followed by the Avrdal town guards, who are the guards, followed by Max, followed by Kai. So, Renji.
Seeing how every everything is happening all at once. He's gonna lick his boots, and he is going to run basically over here. Would have an attack of opportunity from this one at disadvantage.
I just need to make sure that I've got the roll 2 thing on here. I do.
Oh, they're coming from the other side too. Okay.
So a 10 does not hit.
10 does not hit, no. I will then loudly shout, and I think for this,
If only I could cast thaumaturgy on you to make you extra loud.
thank you. If anyone wishes to do that,
You ran away from us.
yeah, unfortunately. But I will loudly shout, whoever lays a hand on these villagers is no soldier of Hyrule. And I will... Is that intimidation or is that persuasion?
I'd say it's giving a command forcefully. I would say that'd be intimidation.
Okay, well, it's only a +8. Let's go. 19.
Okay. Okay. So the sudden declaration and you appearing in the middle of this group, the guy behind you stops in his tracks and skids to a halt and is like, like a magic man in very regal armor has just appeared before him and declared that whoever attacks Avrdal is not a soldier of Hyrule. The two other ones closest to you also appear to stop and turn to regard the shouting. I imagine like this whole group of people, let's say this lot here and this guy down here, stop in their tracks and turn to regard you. There's a brief pause as half of them are like, like their default response is to say, well, no, I mean, you'll misunderstand, like to try and bluff, and others are just wondering, why are we stopping? What are we doing? This is not part, doesn't matter what's part of the plan. We need to go. We need to do this. It's a very silent argument that this group is having among themselves. But that was bonus action, move, say action for a rolled skill thing.
Yeah, I understand that would be the ruling.
Yeah. So I imagine with double movement speed,
I wasn't going to attack if I could even.
Yeah. With double movement speed, you do have a lot of movement to go. So, would you like to move from your current spot? Are you okay where you are?
I think, let's see what's on the other side here. There's four guards, one more over there coming in. Like, they're coming from multiple sides, am I correct?
Yeah, it looks like, from the looks of it, by the time they hit the border, they spread out into different directions in order to kind of do this very rudimentary and poorly planned out pincer maneuver between the buildings.
Okay. I'll... let's see, there's a guard here, there's a guard there. I think I will stay, like, close here. If the veterans, like the what we think fake Hyrulean guards are going to move away, I would try and attempt... I can't attempt to grapple, can I, as an attack of opportunity?
You can attempt to grapple as an attack of opportunity because it's a type of attack.
Yeah.
Okay, then, have that ready as a reaction.
Okay.
It's a standard thing.
All right. In that case, Hikan.
Okay, I'm just gonna measure something real quick.
Okay.
So Hikan can get there. Okay, cool. So Hikan's gonna look at that guard and go, shield up! And then he's just going to vault off of the guy's shield if he raises it to run across the building to get over there. Real quick.
He's like, huh? And just turns and pushes. What am I doing?
He just as this guy's running really quickly towards him. What do I want to do? I don't want to do... I'm going to use my bonus action to activate my Eldritch Claw Tattoo, and then I'm going to punch this guy.
Okay.
In front of us, non-lethally, because I don't know what's we don't know for sure. Well, no, we do know for sure because we wanted the peaceful things. Never mind. I'm still gonna punch him non-lethally though.
Okay.
That is an 18 for 18.
That is a hit.
And then once more, 22 for 14.
Okay. So with those two strikes, taking him completely by surprise, you land gracefully in front of him. The armor dents slightly, but not enough to cause crippling harm or pain. But the wind is knocked out of him with the first strike, and the second strike dents the side of the helmet and strikes him on the jaw. He twirls slightly on the spot before he collapses to the ground unconscious.
Okay. And then for a free action, I will look behind me and tell them, stay behind me, these are not real soldiers of Hyrule. And that'll be turn.
Okay. Following that, they are going to group up to keep as close behind the sudden savior as possible. The commoners down here are going to utilize all of their movement in a single move action that they can to flee away from the oncoming attackers, and same with these ones down here to the south, as you can see down here, the big map. Yeah, that will be their turn, just moving in the way they can. Zayden.
I'm gonna start by casting Confusion to hit these two.
Okay. Wisdom saving throw. 6 and 6. They both fail quite spectacularly.
We are very confused then.
Yeah, you summon up your magics and place this effect in between them. They mid-charge, they stop and stumble. One of them topples sideways into the wall of a building as they sudden hit with a serious case of vertigo, and it's like, what? As if they've just been someone snapped their fingers, like, you're drunk now, and that's kind of it. But they should be they should be completely utterly disabled from what they can do.
Then I shall use shapeshifting to turn into a mighty air elemental.
Ah.
And if I am okay to go up and over houses, I was going to fly over to here to be threatening to stop that lone one from getting to anywhere.
Nice. Excellent. Okay. And in fact, I will move the map so it's visible for people on the stream.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
It's getting big space now.
He's very big.
Yeah.
There to... Yeah, looking, that's probably... Okay, one step below, that's not very helpful. Yeah, I'll stick there.
Okay. Cool.
Back up the guards.
Then it would be the veterans goes. So we will start with the unimpeded guards. This one over here next to Hikan sees some dude just appear out of nowhere and clock one of their fellow soldiers in the face, and he's not going to have any of that. So he's going to move up to Hikan and try his best to strike at him.
You might hit. I had to take off my AC items, so...
Okay. So he brings up a long sword in one hand and swings it down. 8's not going to do it. Then we'll strike with the short sword in the other hand, and a 9's not going to do it. Oh my god, none of these guys can roll above a 10.
Oh, I played D&D on Saturday and had like a horde battle, and maybe 30% of my attacks hit.
Yeah.
That was fun for the players.
Meanwhile...
Or at least a little relief.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this guy is going to move down here and is going to strike at this guard, screaming something to the effect of "For Hyrule!" and swings a 9 and a 7. Oh my god!
Hyrulean soldiers are better trained than that!
This one's gonna try and run up and do the same thing. See if he does it. A 16 might. A 16 might. It does, in fact, hit and deals this fella 10 points of slashing damage. And we'll follow up
blow.
with the short sword. A 12 misses, though. So while this guard takes a horrible wound, a sword blade cutting through his chainmail and across his chest, he manages to stagger back and parry the short sword with his shield. Meanwhile, over on the other side of the battle, this one
maybe?
Oh yeah, that guy. This guy's going to stop in his tracks when confronted with the giant cloud monster. And I'm going to see if he's brave enough.
Gonna make spooky wind noises at him.
He's going to use a full dash action to flee the field. He's just going to run away and get as far away as he can.
Good.
I need to get myself away from this place.
Back over to the western front of our field, we have this one guy who was by the building, has stopped, turned around at the shouting of Renji, and is like, "What in the... huh? Never mind," and turns in order to try his hand at this guard. I would say the distraction of 4 costs him 1 of his multi-attack attacks. However, it is a 23 for 8. It still deals a lot of damage, but doesn't take this guard down. Then we have these 4 up here next to Renji. The one guy at the back here looks at Renji and hears him shouting. Like he catches a glimpse above. He hasn't seen Max yet. Catches a glimpse above the rooftops of a burst of air, just flies off in that direction. Is like, and then I'm gonna give him a perception check to see if he sees Max. That's a natural 20. He looks and sees Max, sees the intimidation machine that is Max, and it's just, oh, fuck this, and just begins...
Max is gonna look at him and say, but just say, "Stay put."
Oh.
give me... let's see, I'll see if he...
Can you beat a 27? Which is my natural intimidation.
Stay put. Okay. He's just gonna drop his weapons and just stay there. I'm gonna put a cross on him to know that he's no longer a combatant.
Yeah.
I am very glad that we at least have 2 of them that are either knocked down, like knocked out unconscious, or
Good,
out
because a
of
lot
the
are gonna
battle.
die on my turn.
Don't forget, one just flat out left.
Yeah.
But at least we have someone to interrogate after.
Yeah. So this one guy over here is just gonna shake his head and attempt to try and attack this guard with his long sword. An 18 still hits and deals 8 points of slashing damage to this guard. They're confused enough that they don't shout the slogans for Hyrule in whatever this is meant to be. The other 2 next to Renji, let's see how they do here. One of them is going to look at the other guy and be like, what do we do? And the other guy is going to be like, just keep going, and will attempt to attack Renji.
Okay.
With
No.
a 17 doesn't hit, and a 10 does not hit.
I, with my newly acquired rapier, I just parry each attack, just using their own momentum to push them just off balance, so I can dodge.
Very cool. And then it's the 2 confused guys who are up next. So let's have a look. First one. Rolls a 7. The creature uses its action to make a melee attack against a randomly determined creature within its reach. If there is no creature within its reach, the creature does nothing on this turn. So, I don't know whether or not that means it then moves, then attacks in order to do that.
No, if there's no one in its reach, it just does nothing.
Okay, so it's just he, with both swords in hands, he's swinging wildly around him and like striking.
I'm imagining the confusion has just kind of surrounded him with very annoying Koroks.
No, he just thinks Kai is closer.
Yeah, his depth perception is fucked.
Yeah. Why aren't I hitting him?
I don't get it. And the other guy, who's next to the guard, gets a 10. He's able to act normally on his turn. So, bracing himself, he swings at the guard. A 15 does not hit. That's the wrong attack. My apologies. It should be a short sword. A 23 does.
But the 2 15s don't hit.
Well, no, one sec. Give me a sec. What's the guards?
Same modifier.
Yeah. Oh, it's the same modifier. Okay, so that's
system.
yeah. So 50, both 15s, neither of them hit. It is the same modifier. You are correct. So the confusion is the guard is able to duck and dive out of the way. On their turns, the ones who are currently involved in melee. Well, let's do the ones who aren't. This guard, seeing the prompt of the newcomers, is going to move and take a dodge action to stand there and brace himself as the opposite wall to protect these people. These 2 guards will then move here and do the same. Then the guards who are currently engaged in melee will retaliate against their attackers. With a 5, this one is unable to retaliate against the veteran here. With a 10, this one is unable to land a blow on the one that's attacking him. With a natural 1, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah, they are unable to land a blow. Even it's difficult to land something on someone whose movements are not terribly voluntary, it turns out. And then back down near the air elemental, a 7 isn't going, but an 18 is, and deals a mighty 7 damage as he catches this one veteran with his spear.
Aren't they using one-handed, the spear one-handed? You said they had shields, or
they should do. Yeah, it is 1d6 on a one-handed spear, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah. Okay.
We've got that right.
And that will be the guard's turn. Max.
Oh boy, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
Up there saying Max is gonna fly up high. Right here. Hold out his hand with the Bloodwell claw. And after a bit of concentration. Oh, snap his fingers. So
Oh.
1, 2,
Oh.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where should the last two go?
Here?
Okay. 9, 10, I think. It says the ball has to be adjacent. Does that work?
I can go one
Um,
square to the left,
You
it'll work.
can, yeah, move one square to the left.
I need to select it properly. Damn it. There we go.
There you go. Okay.
I would like
Wow.
all of them to make dex saves, please.
The only way that they can make this is with a natural 20. Um,
Well,
Godspeed.
there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. One of them won't pass.
okay. So, we'll start here and go clockwise. So, dex save first. Fails. I'll get to what happens to the ones who fail when I've gone through them all, because there's a lot of rolls.
Yeah.
Next one. Fail. 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 If you had advantage, you would have passed.
No.
Fail.
That's the 4 on that side.
Fail.
Yeah.
Turbo fail. And turbo fail again.
Oh, wow.
So,
Death just raises the hand, says enough, and snaps his fingers. They all just go.
yeah. There's just...
I'll do anything, then perish.
Within an instant, the blast of lightning and energy and storm consumes these areas. The armor that they are wearing immediately crumples and begins to flake and incinerate. They each and every one of them jolt to a stop and then through convulsions collapse to the ground, and within a singular turn the entirety of combat is brought to an end.
This
There's
guy.
still one guy left.
Oh, there's still
Does
one
this guy
dude.
still want to fight?
There's
Does he
still
still
one
want to
dude.
go?
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
So you were saying about sending weapons of mass destruction out here. I think Max is definitely one of them.
Oh, absolutely, you're a tactical nuke.
Kai.
All right. So Kai doesn't have as much basic movement speed, but he can dash as a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to go up here, all the while saying, "You saw that. Do you want to keep fighting, or do you want to do this the other way?"
If it helps, I'm glaring at him in the background.
Give me intimidation with advantage.
All right.
Although
Plus
actually,
one.
depends.
Let's go.
Yeah. Plus 1? 15?
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. So it's like he's mid about to raise his sword against Hikan, and then Big Goron turns up and says, "Sure you want to keep going?" And with a head nod, turns to the winged being in the sky and the smell of ozone, and he looks around the corner and sees two of his companions completely, utterly destroyed, and he just and drops his weapons. And yeah, that is combat over.
Good call.
Good call, yeah. With the one remaining, one of the two remaining conscious
There's
enemies.
also scared guy.
There's a scared guy, and there's this guy, and this guy is unconscious.
Yeah.
But
I'm just gonna
technically
wrap up this way
alive.
and catch the other guy.
Okay.
No retreat.
Renji is going to walk up to this guy, grab him by the scruff of his tunic, just below the armor, and Renji's going to just calmly say, "Explain what you are doing here."
And
we might be lenient.
We will settle that next time because we are over time. But yeah,
That's going to provide intimidation support.
Air support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love that.
with that, thank you everybody so much for listening / watching. I've been ArticulateT. This has been Hyrule Chronicles, Legend of Zelda D&D campaign. This has been episode 129. And with me as always, I've had Nether as Renji Vox.
War uncrimed.
I have had Hikan Sio, played by Avrdal.
And Kaikuana.
And Kaikuana, indeed. I've also had Robopirate as Zaiden Shari.
What?
What was that?
Whoosh.
Whoosh. Whoosh.
I'm an air elemental now.
Whoosh.
Whoosh.
And I have had Keystrith as Max.
I'm gonna have to see how many of Max's spells are actually war crimes.
Yes.
And we'll
I
see
think all of them.
We'll see everybody next time. Take care now. Bye bye.